Hey everybody, Pat Monahan here, your faithful narrator on the Patcast. It's been a hell of a couple of weeks here for training camp, I think we call it. We were over in the UK to promote our new record and play some shows. We had such a really, really cool time at V-Fest. It was a huge turnout and a really awesome lineup. We had a great time, and now we're back on the road in the US doing some shows in the Midwest and Northeast. For any train fans that listen to the podcast, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to go out every summer and play for all you guys. You're wonderful people, and we appreciate all your support. Thanks for always being so cool to us as well. It's because of you that we're able to do all of this and have so much fun, and it's because you're so great that we're motivated to keep doing it. If it sounds insincere, it's just the way I talk, so sorry about that. I mean that wholeheartedly. We have a lot coming up. Bulletproof Picasso is our new album. It comes out on September 16, and the new single is out now. It's called Angel in Blue Jeans. Plus, there's other things. If you download the whole album, you get Bulletproof Picasso, the song, and also Cadillac, Cadillac. We'll be doing some record release shows in Los Angeles at the Pantages on September 17 and 18, San Francisco at the Masonic on September 21 and 22, and New York at Radio City Music Hall on September 25. There's more information on the train website at savemesanfrancisco.com. I think we might play the entire new album in its entirety at all these shows, and then songs that you recognize as well. So you might want to get the record for these shows if you're coming. Once again, this episode of the Patcast is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website, portfolio, and online store. Squarespace is actually a really great place to host your music on your band website as well. A lot of musicians use it already, like Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys and The Roots host their site on Squarespace. Those are pretty serious endorsements, so check it out for a free trial and 10% off. Visit squarespace.com and enter the offer code PATCAST, P-A-T-C-A-S-T, at your checkout. Better website starts with your website. This week's Patcast was one of my favorite to do. Jerry and Pergo and I had a great time. I sing in a band. That's a music job that most people know and understand, at least in theory. Some people looking to work in music will get a job at a record label. Some will go to TV or press. Most people understand that. If you want to work in music, there are a number of ways to go about it. We've tried to have some guests on this show who can shed some light on the various jobs in the music industry, like Pete and Lee from Columbia Records and John Hamlin from CMT and 60 Minutes. Today our guest is a guy who, while he is a musician and quite likely you are already familiar with some of his work, you may not know his name. He falls into the category Jerry likes to refer to as side guy. Like Jerry, our guest this week spent many years as a touring musician, backing up some famous names. For instance, Beck. He played guitar with Beck. Frank Black of the Pixies, Todd Rundgren, Sting, and he played on records for Norah Jones, Sheryl Crow, Shakira, Michael Bublé, and myself. And many others. His name is Lyle Workman, and he started out in the Bay Area back in the 80s, playing in a band called Bourgeois Tag. From that point on, people began to recognize that he was a remarkable guitar player. So he's been in demand ever since, and so Lyle has spent a lot of time on the road, but he doesn't sit back and relax when he's home. He's constantly working in the studio, and he has, over the course of his career, gone from an in-demand session musician for all kinds of artists to an in-demand writer and arranger for movie scores, and you will know some of these movies. He happens to be Judd Apatow's go-to guy for movie scores. I met him back when I made a solo record, and he came in and recorded a guitar solo, and we wrote together as well. And, man, what a pleasure he was to work with. I bought him a tuna sandwich from M Cafe in Los Angeles. You'll find out that he doesn't remember a damn thing about that tuna sandwich, which I was disappointed about. But working with him was really fun. Unfortunately, we haven't had much of a chance to work together since then. So a few weeks ago on a trip to L.A., he came by, sat down with us for what turned out to be a fantastic session. Lyle Workman has built a career in a non-linear way and done things that a lot of musicians may never even realize are possible. Partly because he's truly talented and partly because he's an imaginative and likable guy, and he's pretty great to hang with. So it's really a pleasure for me to be able to introduce to you a guitarist, a songwriter, film scorer, and side guy and friend of mine, Lyle Workman, here on the Patcast.
What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking. What do you do? What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking, looking at you. You got to get it while the getting is good. Laugh when you can, cry when you should. You got to give it till the giving is gone. Do what you can, then you move on. What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking. What do you do? What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking, looking at you.
Hey, can I have that guitar when we're done?
Come on, man. He asked.
I mean, I'll let you play it for the podcast.
You know who's...
We keep all the tuning. We get rid of a lot of the talking.
Yeah, some of our podcasts are 13 hours.
There it is.
I'm gonna sit and watch you play. Is that cool? I'm just here to talk, to rub Pat's shoulders.
Oh, God.
That sounds really like you didn't even try.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Lyle Workman. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have Lyle Workman.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lyle Workman.
Ooh, boy, you used to be great.
What happened to him, man? Something happened.
It's so sad.
It was really weird. It first started with he couldn't tune his guitar anymore.
Oh, isn't it cute? Look at Lyle over there trying to tune his guitar. He's been there for 3 hours. So I'm going to introduce you now, Lyle, to everybody because I want to put it in this way. In 2007, I made a solo record that did it did record business. It did record business, meaning it was in the record business. But I made that record with Pat Leonard, and he introduced me to Lyle Workman. And I asked Lyle if he would do this. I lost touch with Lyle, but we're gonna fix that. We're gonna remedy that after this. But Jerry and Pergo have been keeping in good touch with Lyle just as fans over the course of the last few years. But I think that Lyle only showed up today because one day I bought you a tuna burger from M Cafe. And you really appreciated that. And you were like, this is one serious tuna burger. Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember the tuna burger?
Astounded by the tuna burger.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess it wasn't as
I'd
special
never
as
had
I
one
thought.
before, or maybe I hadn't had that
Man,
one.
I brought you this tuna burger. I was like, you got to have it. It's like insane. And
I
you were
went
like,
crazy?
wow, this was really serious.
Wow.
Anyway, you can go back to the M Cafe. Lyle Workman, everybody, from a million different things that we'll talk about. But thanks so much for coming and hanging out with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
Jerry
really
told
good
me
to see you.
he became a Facebook friend of yours a few years ago.
We had some mutual friends, and then I had sent you a letter. I said, "Hey, I play with Pat," and you're like, "Oh, great, man." So I do see,
okay.
I see your posts and stuff, and they're very musical and they're very great. Yeah.
So can I go back to when I met you?
Absolutely.
Okay. You were hard to get to come in. Pat asked you to come in a few times, and you were able to, but you were able to less than we wanted you to come in because you were working on this little movie that you were super stressed out about, and it's called Super Bad. And you were like,
oh my gosh,
you were
now I
like, I'm
remember,
doing this movie, and it's pretty cool. There's these two teenage kids in it, and like, and now you're the dude who did Super Bad music, and I didn't really realize how intense you were getting involved in the movie world and in that particular movie and what you had to do. Like, you created a band that sounded like that whole vibe that you created.
All right.
I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment. And so, are you stressed now still when you work with Apatow and you're doing movies? Is it still the same kind of strain?
I've got a few more years under my belt, so it's, some of the things I wasn't sure about how to coordinate. I know how to do that better now, and you just get more efficient the more you do it. Just like anything else.
Right.
But now I'm flashing back to those sessions, and I don't know exactly. I can't remember exactly what part of the process was, but it was for a lot of Judd's films, or all the ones, the films that he produces. There are a lot of audience previews. And so we're always trying to get all the.
So you did a lot of revising then.
There's a lot of revising. There's like, let's try to do this. Let's just change this. Let's see how this works in the scene. And so it just means there's a lot more work along the process of getting the music done. But
have you ever seen? Do you go to those previews?
Oh yeah. I'm
have you ever seen like some of the previewers say, "I hate that character"?
Oh yeah,
and then he has to like get rid of scenes and stuff.
Well,
I went to one.
Or does he just add scenes because he's like, "Ooh, they hate that guy. I like that."
He takes everything under advisement. But if he feels really strong about something, then he sticks with it. And having a huge movie right out of the gate afforded him some luxury.
But that wasn't the first one.
No, that was 40-Year-Old Virgin was the first one.
Did you work on how much of that?
I did all that too.
You did all of that?
Yeah, I scored that film. That was my first film.
That was your first one?
That was my first
Okay,
movie.
so you had already like gotten a bunch of kinks out, and because you had why do you and Judd, like, why do you work together so well? Like, I mean, you seem to be his guy, and do you do other film scores?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. I do. I've done several of his, and I've branched off and worked with other people. And
is that your main gig now, is scoring?
Yes.
That's cool,
But I still
man.
do sessions, and I still play and gig and stuff like that. I still like to just play my guitar, and for me, a recording session is like a vacation. Compared to doing a film score, it's like
that's what it
I could
seemed
sit here
like.
and I could just play guitar, like, oh, right on.
Well, that's what it seemed like when you would come in. Like you did you did Cowboys and Indians, and in the solo you did it in one take, and you were so relaxed. And then when you were leaving, you were like, okay, I gotta go, man. I gotta go do this.
There was probably just some sort of deadline.
Yeah, it was always a deadline.
Yeah,
and you just had a child, I think, too.
That's right. Yeah.
You don't remember anything about me, and I remember everything about you.
This is Pat.
My name is Pat, and I sing, and I like you.
Well, I remember sort of the general period of time, but I had a kid. Really?
People need to know.
Wait. Do you not have any children?
No, I was just joking. Wait a minute, I had a kid.
People need to know what that super bad band was.
Yeah,
That was
tell us about the band.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, the gist of the movie was when I went to meet with everybody. The director was Greg Mottola, and Judd produced. And it was kind of funny because let me back up, because I'd done 40-Year-Old Virgin. That was my first movie,
And that was an Apatow movie.
and that
too.
was Apatow's first directorial film. He had produced several films. He had a show called Freaks and Geeks and a bunch of TV stuff. And so that was his first time directing a full feature.
Did you work on any of that TV stuff with him?
No. So
How did he get your name for 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I had done a favor for a music executive that worked at Universal Pictures.
When you say favor, are you talking about HJ?
Okay, I'll be more specific. I had a composer friend of mine called me and said, hey, this guy, Harry Garfield, he's the vice president of music at Universal. He's got some music for his own personal thing. He wants some guitar, and might not be a bad idea to have a vice president of music in your studio.
Sure.
And so he came to my studio, and I played guitar on his track. And now I should back up and say that I had done one film before that. It was a film called Made with Jon Favreau film. And
Sure.
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, so that was my first film.
Right.
But I had done it with another composer. He asked me to help him along to do that film. So it was a co-composing scenario. So I had that movie, and I'd done several like jingles and commercials, working for an agency, writing. So I'd had pretty good experience working to picture. So anyway, I put a demo CD together and gave it to Harry on his way off, and just thinking I'd probably never hear from him. And he called me back because there's some good stuff on there, and then he asked me if I would be interested in submitting some additional music for a movie called Kicking and Screaming.
Wow,
so Will
cool.
Ferrell,
Real fun soccer coach.
yeah,
one.
Robert Duvall, and I did it, and the music was used, and Judd was one of the producers.
One of the producers on the
So that
movie.
was kind of the
That's how you were introduced to him. Cool.
Yeah.
And the only other person that we've podcasted that is has a relationship with Apatow is Ken Jeong.
Oh yeah, of course.
And Ken's in
my
all
gosh.
of his movies now
Yeah,
too. So
yeah.
there's like a lovely friendship that he seems to have with a group of people that I think Adam
got his
Sandler
team.
kind of had that thing where he had his buddies they hung out all the
Spade
time.
and
But
those dudes, yeah.
but now Apatow is the guy, and you guys all seem to be like pretty good buddies. Are you friends with people like Ken? Or do you hate him?
We hate him.
I don't wish to talk about him. No, I don't. I've never actually met him.
Oh, you never met
No.
Ken? Oh man, you guys would be the best because you're both super easy people to get along with.
Well, he's
and,
hilarious. I mean, his scenes in Knocked
He's
Up are
amazing. He takes them very seriously.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Those deleted scenes or extra scenes in Knocked Up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh,
It's amazing.
so funny.
You worked on that too, didn't you?
I worked. Well, I did. I just did a couple scenes in that. I wasn't the full-on composer, but I'd done like the birth scene, that whole scene when she finally gives, and a few other scenes in that movie, I think. But
Well, look, we can talk about the movies that you've done forever, but I want to go back to the beginning now. Now that we've talked about now that I've introduced myself to you.
now that I know who you are,
Now that you know who I am. So, you're born and raised in San Jose, right? The
Exactly.
Bay Area.
Yep.
So, you end up in this band called Bourgeois Tag, which Pergo thinks is one of the worst band names he's ever heard.
Terrible name. Great
Thanks,
band.
Ferg.
Terrible
do you,
name,
Do you know
great band.
why that's called Bourgeois Tag?
Well, his last name is Bourgeois.
His last name, yeah, and the other guy's name was
Oh, the other guy's
Smith?
name was Tag.
yes.
And so, why not Bourgeois Workman? Were you not one of the two first guys or something?
It's probably too late to take that up with him. Since we broke up in 1988 or whatever it was. 89. They were a central songwriting team. They'd been in a band together.
Okay.
And so I was just the guitar player.
And
that
was it a
on
Bay Area band?
Yeah. Well, the two of the Brett Bourgeois, Larry Tagg were in a band called Uncle Rainbow, and they played the circuit in San Jose.
Ah.
And so they were the best band in the area. They were
Oh, they
so
were
good. This band
so
called Uncle
when
Rainbow.
they asked you, they just knew you were like a local shredder.
Because I was in another band that was in a pretty good band in the area, and so we'd go watch them. They see us. It was
That's cool.
This one area in Campbell, there was two clubs, and you would just go across the street to see who was playing. And
Right.
But they were a great band.
So it's like Hall and Oates, right? They were in like competing bands, and then they got together, and so.
Well, they too were in the band. They came from Dallas, moved out
okay.
sent to the Bay Area.
They moved to the Bay Area. Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
and so they had this band Uncle Rainbow. They decided to leave that group and start
They
their
don't
own
sound
thing.
like Dallas.
No,
And they don't look like Dallas in the video. You, my friend, are by miles the coolest looking guy in the video.
Oh, goodness.
They only show you 3 times. And everybody else, I'm like, move on. Let's get to the loud part. Can we play a Bourgeois Tag song right now? And I'll
Yeah.
sing it because I would. I'm so in love with this jam.
cool,
I
man.
knew it. I knew it back then, and I know it now.
Yeah,
This is the song called "I Don't Mind at All."
I could tell you a little bit about the song. That song.
No, we're not interested.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to know what he got.
I was under the impression I was here to talk. No. This song. Let me tell you about this song, folks. I entered the band not under the pretense as a songwriter, but more like just a guitarist, and they were welcoming me to write stuff. So we were getting ready to do our second record, and I made a cassette tape. That's how far back that is.
I remember those.
Of a bunch of tracks that I thought were more in keeping with the style of the band.
What
then I
year
had-
is this around?
That would have been 87, 86.
Okay.
And this was like just kind of an afterthought, this little acoustic jam. And I gave the tape to Brent, and I guess, what do you think? Is there anything that you think might be good for band? He goes, well, I really like that one thing. And I go, oh, is it that one, that funk thing? Like, no, that acoustic thing. Like, really?
I know, isn't that the way it is?
It was kind of a one-off, because even though that song ended up being our biggest hit, it wasn't really indicative of how we were live as a group. It was it was kind of a one-off. Yeah. But
so it was like extremes. More than words.
Absolutely. Exactly. But perfect.
And you didn't want to just like, man, you hit bigger with this one than anything else. You didn't want to just keep shooting down that road, or was that not where they wanted to go? Or was there some competition there that?
Not really. No. I mean, I think it was fine. It was just, it was just one of the songs we had on our record, and then we toured that cycle, and actually, a young man named David Fincher did our video for I Don't Mind at All.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he was like 24 years old or something.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
What has he done since?
I don't
Fight
know.
Club.
There's the first rule of Fight Club. What that is, right?
Oh dear.
Take your fucking
don't.
shirt off. Oh, that's, I think, right? Is that from the movie? Because that's
I haven't seen it in a while.
I always get that confused with stuff I tell people. So, do you mind me singing this song?
I would love you
do
to.
Your
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Are you in tune with Jerry? Usually, he likes to tune to.
Oh yeah, you got the right voicing and everything.
Well, I tried.
He's got his.
He's a huge nerd for you, dude. He's like
nice.
he loves two
HJs,
things,
man.
He loves two things: Star Wars and you.
Oh my gosh!
And he's got kids and everything.
Wow.
So yeah, it's
I
a
don't
bummer.
even know how to
I'm gonna
react to
ghost
that.
you. I'll let you start, and I'll come in.
Okay.
You want to lead me in, or you just want me to go? Because I think I got the key.
Yeah. I think, it's
All right.
Pretty much you start and I start playing.
2, 3.
The time for talking's over now. I guess it's time to let you go. But I don't know I don't mind it all. It's getting so you never know when things are better left alone. But I don't know I don't mind it all. It's important to me. I don't see you laughing at me, but I'm smart enough to know that I have to let you go. But I don't mind at all. Sentimental tears will get you far as you might think they will. But I don't know I don't mind at all. Misery loves company, but she will never fit the bill. But I don't know I don't mind at all. It's important to me that I don't see you laughing at me, but I'm smart enough to know that I have to let you go. But I don't mind at all. 7 years ago I said goodbye to my own sanity, but I don't know I don't know I don't mind at all.
Nice.
That's the jam, dude. I love that song.
Oh, thank you.
It's
Thank
such
you
a
very
great
much.
song.
I think we got a band.
Great.
the thing with your guitar playing, and I think, is Greg Kirsten a friend of yours?
Yes.
You remind me of Greg because he's like a super crazy talent, and you guys are so you're so like mild mannered, but you have every right to be crazy artists. Like crazy people that we meet have a fraction of the talent that you and Greg have. Like, you're so reasonable. Is that why you get so much work and you still do such cool things? Do you think that as you learned as an adult, having played in cool bands and whatever, you've played with Beck and the Police, and you played on Shakira records, and I don't know if you've ever toured with her, but like big, huge names. And do you think that it all comes down to like your parents in the end and what they taught you how to be a decent person?
Oh man, I don't even know how to answer that.
If you do decide to answer it, could you do it on the microphone?
I think for me, what makes a good musician is being a good listener. And I've always had been sort of a backup kind of personality, like I like being in bands. I like collaborating.
You're okay not being the guy?
Yeah. And I think so if you're really a good listener, that makes the best musicians, really.
Who are some people that you would through your experience say are really good musicians?
Oh, geez.
I mean, you're probably 100 of them, but who are a few?
Well, I get to play with just so many of them just living in this town. I mean, I'd hate to name one person because then I felt like I didn't.
Then how about you just name one that isn't?
I like where this is going.
Oh gosh, I mean, this
because that'd be fun to see like a friendship break up for me. It would just
I could tell you that, like, for example, playing in Sting's band, I get to play with drummers like, Abe Laboriel Jr. or
he's the greatest drummer
Josh Freese,
that is alive,
Vinny
right?
Colaiuta. I mean, those are the guys that were.
Yeah, Vinny's great. Well, Vinny and Abe Laboriel, they played on my record.
Oh, okay.
Josh didn't, but I know that he's amazing. You told me a story about the first thing that happened to you when you flew out to Europe to meet Sting's band.
Oh, yeah.
And you got in the bus, and a guy sat next to you. You were at the window, and you were kind of staring out the window, and this guy didn't say two words to you, according to your story. Back then, maybe you were a huge liar. I don't know. But you
Dominic?
said...
It's the guitar player, right?
I don't remember who it was. And out of nowhere, he put his hand on your leg, and he pointed out the window at something. He was like, "That's cool," or whatever. And then he went back to sitting, but he kept his hand on your leg.
Oh no! Okay, so you're mixing up two different things.
Okay,
you're mixing two things. That was when I was on the road with Frank Black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was just this guy. He was the roadie, and he was just a funny guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just had this gag. He did this gag one time. We were in the bus, and it's just the 300th bus ride of that tour,
right.
and we did a lot of touring, and it was, I don't know, it was probably 6 months in, and we're just going from A to B. It was a long bus ride, I do recall, and he's sitting next to me on the bench seat, right, sort of right by where the window is in the bus. And he just kind of bored, and I'm like, I don't know, I think I'm reading or something. And he's sitting pretty close to me, and then he puts his hand over on my knee, and then he looks out the window, and he's pretending like there's nothing, like there was nothing that it wasn't. He was pretending like it was not unusual for him to put his hand on my knee, and he just was saying stuff like, "Man, I hope there's some good food at this venue, man. That last place was just a bummer." And he's got his hand on my knee, and I'm just looking at his hand and go, what is he doing? Because, it's like, man, you remember that place we went to? Oh, remember that place we ate at? Remember? Oh, that was incredible. And he starts sort of like sliding his hand sort of up. Yeah, man, it was like, oh, man, that place was fantastic. They had this weird turkey burger with seasoning. Anyway, it was amazing. And then he would stop, and I just want to see how he was going to do.
Right.
And then he would just start looking out the window again, and a couple minutes, and his hand is still there. Yeah, I don't know. It was just a gag.
There's a lot of road weirdies, right?
Oh,
it's so funny. You have to get weird, or it just becomes a bummer.
Absolutely, you got to have a good time because it's.
I mean, what are
2
some
hours
of
of joy and then 20 hours?
Exactly.
Of traveling.
What are some of your favorite tours that you've been on?
Well, the one I did in 2006 with Sting was way up there.
Really?
What was the first?
Was it just
thing we
one
did.
year, or how long was it?
Well, that tour was just a summer. You know, it was like.
And how did he find you, or how did you become associated
It was
with him?
basically just through Josh Freese, who had already been playing with him.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Josh was playing with him, and
Is
They did-
Josh as lovely a guy to be around as Abe is? Because he's.
Oh, yeah,
When you're
yeah.
around Abe, you just can't believe like how lovely he is,
I
right?
know, it's a joy fest.
It is crazy. Like, I guess if you're that good at something like drums, you just what's to be
What's
mad
to
about?
be unhappy about, for sure.
But there
And
are.
plus, he's got the greatest gig in the world.
It is a good gig.
Think about it.
Yeah, we met.
Brian Ray.
Brian Ray, too.
Abe plays in Paul McCartney's band, for the people who know.
Yeah, and so does Brian. Do you know Brian?
I know Brian. I know all those guys, Rusty, and
When you were coming up in the Bay Area, who were your guitar idols?
it kind of ran the gamut. You know, it kind of ran the gamut between like progressive rock guys and
Like who?
Well, like Steve Howe or Steve Hackett and Genesis or
GTR fan.
no,
No.
and then John McLaughlin and
Yeah.
people like that, Steve Morris, and then jazz players. But then also like Elliot Easton. I think he's unbelievable guitar player. Made the most incredible 8-bar solos in pop music in that time.
Wow.
I think.
Are you a fan of Tom Petty's guitar player,
Mike
Campbell?
Campbell, love
Yeah.
Mike Campbell.
And then what about the guitar players that are as good as you tend to love the guitar player from the Pretenders?
James Honeyman Scott, absolutely.
Like he was a
Absolutely.
ripper, right? He just played super tasteful stuff.
Tasteful and just inventive and
And then
First
as a songwriter, who were some of the people you looked up to as a songwriter? Because do you write melody and lyric, or just like you're writing?
mostly write just music.
Right.
And I don't generally like lyrics, but I do write lyrics. But
So
I
you do a lot of
from time to
co-writing.
time. Yeah.
And so, who were some of the songwriters that you looked up to?
Peter Gabriel. That's at the top of the list.
Wow.
He was at the top of the list.
Absolutely.
And the bands that he put together, were they at the top of the list as far as musicianship, or
Yeah, there were always great players in Peter.
were you a
Gabriel's
Genesis fan?
band. Absolutely.
Huge. Yeah.
Huge. But more of the old stuff.
You know, one of the most proggy things that I've ever liked, because I like Genesis,
Yeah.
but prog rock has just never been my thing. It's too
Yeah.
complicated, and my brain it's kind of like Star Wars. It's for people like Jerry. But I get it. And the one thing that I really got was Jellyfish.
Oh yeah.
And I just was looking at them on YouTube, and it's such a shame that I see like so many like pop artists getting millions and millions of YouTube views, and this incredible band Jellyfish, who is dismantled now, but they have like 70,000 or something. It's like, oh yeah, I remember them back then, but they
Yeah.
were masters, man.
But many of those 70,000 are rabid fans.
It might
Right.
be the
No.
same 5 people.
yeah. You played on Spilt Milk. Did you
Yeah.
play on any the first record?
No.
What was your role in Spilt Milk? Why did they bring you in? What was the idea, and how did you get involved with that?
I just think they were looking for a guitar player. They'd done their first record with Jason Faulkner, and I guess he left the band for I don't know the reason why. And they Roger Manning and Andy Sturmer were the central core of Jellyfish, essentially. They were in a band called Beatnik Beach in the Bay Area. I was in Bourgeois Tag.
Oh, they're a
Right.
Bay Area.
Yeah,
Oh,
they-
yeah.
I didn't know
They
that.
were from
You know-
Pleasanton, right?
out
there,
Pleasanton
kind
or
of?
Walnut Creek or
Yeah,
something
out
like
there,
that? I
East
can't remember.
Bay. Yeah.
So we knew of them. They knew of me.
Okay, so they knew Bourgeois Tag
We were
and-
pretty big fish in a small pond.
Oh,
I would
cool.
have to say our band.
Bourgeois
We played-
Tag
Yeah,
was.
we played a lot. There was a lot of gigging and
So
we
those
were good-
those guys would come out and see your band and be like, "Holy shit, that guy's."
Yeah, and we'd done a show. I don't remember we did one show together. But it's funny because when I heard that first Jellyfish record, I blew my mind. I had no idea it was. I thought it was this great band from England.
Right.
I had no
Everybody
idea it was.
did.
When
those
you see
dudes.
them when they created that look too a little bit, like
Yeah.
like in some of their videos, they look like they were trying to be like the Beatles a little bit.
They kind of had a whole thing, it was
Yeah.
aesthetic viewpoint and obviously a musical they kind of came too early. I think they.
I mean, they came
Don't you
out.
think?
Jerry said they came out the same year Nirvana
I think
came out.
Spilt
Yeah.
Milk did.
That's right.
But I believe their first record was 90, I think.
So they were making a move, from like glam rock or hair
Yeah.
metal or whatever, from like Cinderella and bands like that. But they were making a move in a progressive way where really like the Nirvana thing just got so big that it overshadowed anything that was going to be changing.
Yeah, I remember when I heard that first Jellyfish record, my response was like, I can hear their influences, Queen and
Beach Boys.
Beach Boys and the Beatles, and it was real evident. Mm-hmm. But there wasn't anything out there that like that at that time. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, they're doing this thing, they're doing this,
Right.
and it was refreshing. And the guitar sounds like, wow, that's like these old, but
it also sounds like you. I mean, the chords that you play, just knowing you as a writer, but also like what you just played in I Don't Mind at All. Like,
Yeah.
The
that
voicing.
sounds.
The voice,
yeah, those
Well, it's
sound
just
like
the same DNA. We all have the same DNA from those groups from that period. We all. That's how we learned how to play.
Yeah.
We, learning how to play Beatles songs or Beach Boys or Queen. That becomes your vocabulary of music. That's what you use to write to write with. So we weren't far off from that. So,
Right.
So it was like, oh, I know this music. I know what they're doing, and I can get inside it.
Yeah. And so they ask you, hey, man, will you come in? Did you play like everything? Did you write with them? What was your process?
I think, I actually sought them out because I heard that first record and I was just blown away by it.
Wow.
And then I found out that not only were they not from England, but they from the Bay Area. And in fact, they had a band that opened up for us. And I can't remember who I called, but I found out, I think I got Roger Manning, the keyboard player's number, and I think I just cold called him and, hey man, if you ever need guitar, I think you guys are unbelievable. And well, funny you should mention that. We're doing demos for our next record, and maybe you can come out and play on our demos.
Wow. And those demos ended up making the record.
All the demos, yeah. I mean, the demos are very, very close to. They just basically just recreated the demos. And they're all recorded on an 8.
Did you play on every track?
I played on most. Yeah, I played on almost all the tracks.
Did you
on
write the
demos.
solos?
I think so.
I mean, if you played
sometimes
them,
when you're
so
sitting
great.
down and
Yeah.
it's a room, and I think I came up with a lot of my own stuff, and they may have said, "Hey, what about?"
Right.
There was collaboration going on, but
can we play a Jellyfish that you played on?
yeah, sure.
Or a Jellyfish song, because New Mistake, I remember seeing this on a television show. I think that they may have come out and played this on like what was the Ed McMahon song or the show?
Star Search?
They might have played it on Star Search or something crazy. Yeah, I don't remember where I saw him.
It was a Battle of the Bands TV show.
Oh my gosh.
I don't remember, but I was like, man, I was blown away with it. But if you listen to this song to me, like your solo, you played the solo in this?
Yeah.
It's fucking tremendous, man. It's like, I hope there's kids out there that are like, that was the shit.
Oh, that's
Like
great to
really,
hear.
man. It's so good.
Well, when you're when someone gives you a beautiful piece of music to be a part of, you can't help but rise to your very best ability.
Wow.
And it was certainly the case because I loved the first record. We got together and recorded the demos. Mostly it was just guitar overdubs on stuff they'd recorded on this. You remember that it was the 8-track cassette?
Yeah.
8 tracks on a little cassette, but Porter Studio.
Porter Studio, yeah.
I can't remember the model.
Akai?
But-
Is it? No.
But it was.
Yeah.
That was the format.
Wow.
And actually, New Mistake, something interesting about that is the guitar solo. The first bar of the guitar solo was accidentally erased when either Andy or Roger, in order to overdub, they had to bounce stuff
Ping
over,
pong.
and somehow they one of them made a slip, and there's a bar missing from the. Like if you notice, like when it goes to the solo, there's like a bar. Dun, 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 there's the key change and a bar of nothing. Yeah. And I still
right. I thought that was just genius.
No, and I still remember what those notes were.
Let's play them.
Which is totally crazy. I mean, someone says, "Hey, man, how you doing? We hung out the other day." I don't even know who you are, but I can remember exactly what those notes were from something that got erased.
I experienced that when you came in the room today, but
I totally remember.
If I could play guitar like you, and someone asked, "Hey, did you know what you wrote that amazing solo?" I would just say, "That's right. I did." Because I am amazing. I would say that.
Well, like I said, it's just how it is an inspiration. I don't know how you feel, but I just feel like it just sort of, I don't really take responsibility for it or accept all of the.
You must have sat in your room for years, right?
Well, I put the time in, but I really was given an incredible piece of music to contribute to.
Well, that's cool. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Well, I'd love to sing it. I'm going to do the best I can.
I'll just play as much as I know.
Why don't we just do a verse and chorus of it? We'll come back to this.
I'm going to just sing all of it.
No, man, it's fine.
And then if
if you can play through the whole thing, then
I can play through the whole thing and just take a solo in D. A new one.
What we'll do is we'll play all of it, and then whatever you forget, we'll dub in later.
Okay. It used to go
and I'll
3.
just do it with my voice.
That's see, it's your show, man. Come on. Let me tell you about. I'll tell you what. I'll sing.
Probably not playing right chords,
I'll sing the solo.
sing it.
I'll
That's
try
perfect.
to sing it,
Oh,
but it'll include
the new part.
the Lost Bar.
All right, let's do it. This is
you
called
used the capo.
New
how to
Mistake
play it.
from Jellyfish.
Yeah.
I'll try.
No, that's great.
Okay.
All right, Jellyfish, New Mistake. 1, 2.
Curtain open, spotlights the gentleman signing his love letter, best wishes, simpleton dialogue. Swam from his pen like pollywogs. He knew better that perfume was grabbing him, pulling him closer to what could be tragedy. Love is blind, deaf and dumb, but never mind. You better catch me when I fall. I'm on my roller skates. 'Cause anyway that I fall, I land in your arms even though it's wrong. 'Cause I love my new mistake. Intermission gave way to a miracle. Birth of an accident grew to a spectacle that didn't wait. The mother was 3 weeks late. So Father Mason, clutching his crucifix, baptized the baby in whiskey and licorice, a lovely way, drowning sins into decay. Looks like our hero's gonna fall. The bows are bound to break. 'Cause any way that I fall, I'll be in your arms as we lie awake with our lovely new You better catch me when I fall. My sugar trampoline. 'Cause any way that I fall, I land in your arms even though it's wrong. 'Cause I love my new mistake. The ending turned tragic when many years later the baby had grown up and married a pop singer. I think it was her turn to make her first mistake.
Oh,
I mean,
That
you
song is
forgot
so good.
more than most people will ever do in their music careers. Really, I mean, you've played
Yeah.
so many jamming things, like written
Been very
them.
lucky.
And what is the thing you like the most? You need the whole mashup of all of it. You need the studio time, but you also need to go perform live to make it make sense. And
I like
and
the
vice
combo
versa.
platter. I really
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Surf and turf.
Yeah. I like the huge responsibility of writing a score, but I also like playing on someone's record and just coming up with a cool guitar part, or just going and playing, doing a gig, or just it's all fantastic, and I think it all feeds each other. And I think it's kind of helped my scoring. It's just my experience with bands, and you bring something different to the experience as a composer, or as a composer, I bring something different to my role as a sideman if I'm coming up with parts, because now I've had more time working with the overall picture to
Right.
come up with the small details. It's perspective.
Would you ever consider building a band again to go do tours or make records, or like I interviewed Jacob Dylan the other day, and I called it a super group, and he was like, "Yeah, I can't. That's a kind of a dirty word." Super group if you're referring to your own band, but maybe a band full of really cool people, that'd be a good way to put it. But would you ever consider putting a band together of super talented people that are friends now? I guess what I'm asking is, can I be in your band?
I would love to hear you sing with anything I would play. So
Yeah.
it becomes about just practicality of time and
Right.
other commitments.
Yeah, and
I
also
do-
making a living and doing
Making
what you
a
have to
living
do to
and
be responsible as a human, right?
Exactly. I mean, what I do on my spare time is I make my own instrumental music, and I've got 3 records.
I've listened to your records, man.
Oh,
It's
cool.
Like you can, you're so creative. How do you? I mean, there's 7 chords. How do you do it? What are you thinking?
It's just I'm a product of all the stuff I listen to, like I was saying earlier, from the Beach Boys, the Beatles, to progressive rock, to jazz, to fusion, to classical music.
Yeah.
It just, to me, good music is good music. I don't care what it is. If it could be punk, it could be Johnny Cash, it could be, anything.
Yeah.
And so I've just been inspired by a lot of stuff, and it just when you spend a lot of time on your instrument, you're able to duplicate
Right.
that with your instrument, and
You've seen music world change quite a lot. I mean, you started Bourgeois Tag before I started my band, which is rare because most people I talk to weren't
you
born.
guys have been around, a long time.
So, we toured. We didn't have cell phones or the internet, so obviously you were in that same position. And then when you started to do stuff with Beck, I don't even know what year was that. 2000. Well, that was 99
and 2000. It was for the Midnight Vultures tour.
That was just the beginning of cell phones, and
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
people having them all the time, and the internet was, cooking, but it wasn't like it is today. And no one, like iTunes wasn't even an idea jiggling around in a pocket. But now it's so different, and record guys that were greedy or even really brilliant are gone. They're not in the business anymore. It's
Yeah.
really not a business of selling records. It's other things, but there are other means to listen. Kids don't really buy records. They don't hardly even listen to the radio. They watch YouTube, or they just listen to YouTube because they don't watch TV. They just have a computer. What do you think of all this stuff? I mean, you've seen so many changes, and do you have an opinion overall?
Yeah, I think it's basically just distractions, and there's just so many options of things that you can do with your attention, with your time. And if you're a young person, and it's like, I mean, I have an 11-year-old son, so I see it with him. It's like, I think about what I had when I was 11. There was sports and there was music. There were, that was kind of it.
Yeah.
Unless you wanted to be a scientist or, some specific study. But I think that it's just the advent of technology is taking a huge bite out of the creative world of artists.
I think you're right.
And then especially with downloading, and I'm sure you could go talk a lot about that. I mean, anybody who's a recording artist has a lot to say about that because everyone's affected by it.
But
don't you
I
think?
never complain because there are a lot of sources to make income.
Well,
And I don't.
when you're a
like,
live group, absolutely. When you're
so
when you
I'm
can-
really lucky that
Right.
I'm willing to work.
yeah.
Because some people, they got really rich, and then it was like, okay, now I got to go to work. Well, why? Well, okay, what do I get? Oh,
Yeah.
wait, less money than when I didn't work. There's like a lot of. It's hard to feel bad for millionaires kind of thing out
Oh,
there,
yeah,
you know. So
right.
when I hear musicians complain about the way the music business is, I don't have any sympathy. But if I hear somebody like a writer like David Wild, I talked to him the other day, and he was like, the thing that I worry is that there was this great balance that happened where the greedy corporate side of music was getting shifted. It was shifting into the music lover getting a better product because people weren't going to settle for a good song and a bad album. And so there was this shift, and it was good. And now it's shifting too much. And now he's like, I don't know if we're going to get the talent in the music world that we would have gotten if there was a bigger means to make a living.
That's true. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. An artist's impetus is never to make money.
Sure.
But, if there's no audience, if there's no one to go to the club to see them play, and then basically just in their bedroom making music, and that's what people are doing. I mean, to touch on what you said earlier, bands that have been around long enough that have established a following, like your band or bands that hit big in the 90s, I mean, they can still go out. But I think what about the new band today? Some great band that's not going to get the chance to.
But don't you think they have an easier way to get heard? You just have to really.
Well, you have to. Yeah, you have to build a following somehow. You have to build some sort of momentum.
Like I know managers that artists are like, hey, I'd like to get a record deal, and the managers are like, that's the worst thing you could do. Like, do you know what these record labels want from you and what you're going to get in return? Like, let's do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we can do this without them. Because when I signed a record contract, there was only one way.
You're right. Yeah,
you got to have this record company take it to radio and push it on shelves and get it into Kmart.
Tour support, and you're out there opening for big bands, all that stuff.
And now it's like YouTube breaks bands. There's what are some of the ways that people get heard now?
SoundCloud.
What?
SoundCloud.
Yeah, electronic music
Spotify,
is
SoundCloud. Yeah.
But don't you think there's so many people? There's no standard. There's like anybody can. It's like, okay, I'm going to find music. I'm going to open up the phone book and find a phone number, and I don't know where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the record company, at least what I thought as part of their job was to seek out, talent, develop them, let them do a couple records, 3 records, 4 records. I mean, think about U2. A band like U2 would probably not even exist.
Of course not.
And then how they evolved and changed and grew as a group. There's got to be some sort of support for that.
I can't imagine that there's many developmental projects out there for record companies.
So if you can't, if you've got to do it on your own, but then people have to make a living somehow, and it's just really hard for artists. I think
It's brutal. What does your son seem to be leaning towards as an 11-year-old?
Art.
Really?
Yeah, that's
art,
his
like
thing.
like
Drawing.
visual art.
Yeah, he's really good at drawing, and
That's cool.
goes to art classes twice a week, and he paints and does watercolor and whole thing.
Do you take him back to the Bay Area much? Do you still have family there?
I have a sister that lives there, but everyone else has moved.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
And so you don't really.
I
have
don't go to the Bay Area that much, which is a drag. Because that's spent my formative years there. So it's beautiful part of the country.
Okay, folks, we need to pause here for a minute and take a commercial break. I always dreamt one day I would do these, and here I am. Pergo has rent due and bills to pay, and luckily our sponsor, Squarespace, is here to help him out. Thank you so much, Squarespace. Squarespace is also the space that Pergo lives in. He lives in a Squarespace, and so this commercial is dedicated to him and anyone else that lives in that space. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that makes it easy to create a professional, beautiful website and even an online store. Pergo is using it right now to build an online store where he sells all of his train memorabilia. I sign a lot of things, signed to Pergo, and I didn't realize that he was the only Pergo that I was signing those to. So that's weird for me to find that out. So it's where he sells his train memorabilia so he can pay his rent. For a free trial and 10% off, go to squarespace.com and enter the offer code PATCAST when you check out. A better website starts with your website.
I have a 3-page booklet of questions that I have. But I wanted to ask you what your relationship with Beck is. You guys ever work together after you toured with him?
I think we did. I did one session with him, and I don't see him that often because he's got a family now. I mean,
yeah,
and,
right, yeah, he's friends with.
Because when we toured, I didn't have kids, he didn't have kids. Now we both have kids,
right?
But I have the highest regard for him as a person and also as an artist.
Cool.
I've been really lucky to work with people like Beck. And
it was just the opposite of the 80s, right? Like there weren't like lines of girls wanting to get into the bus and get naked. Like it was super like.
No, it was all about the music. It was all about the music.
So sad
it was all
to me.
About
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Well, that guy could just back it up, man. I mean,
yeah.
I learned so much from being in his band.
Really?
Doing the touring. It was mostly just the touring. Yeah, because he just has to play in Beck is to enter a world. He's got an aesthetic that is just him. And it permutates any sort of style that he, like whether he's doing the sort of the folky stuff or the more sort of funky R&B stuff that's on Midnight
like
Vultures.
Deborah?
Like Deborah.
Yeah.
But there's something it never feels like, oh, this is just kind of a bad imitation. I hear like something that's so, he has a fresh approach to it and something that's so unique, and
how about Todd Rundgren? Do you have a good friendship with Todd?
I could say the exact same thing with Todd. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you seem to like have this attraction or people attract you that are like really innovative to me. Like, Sting is a serious entity, and so is Rundgren. Like whether kids know him or not. I mean, kids don't even know Beck anymore. Like Beck hasn't been on the radio in a long time, but man, people like me are still envious of anyone that even just got to meet the guy.
Yeah.
And like,
there's actually one song on his last record that they were playing quite a bit.
He's touring pretty hard right now.
Yeah, he's out.
Okay, I take everything back.
Yeah.
But I know what
take
you mean.
everything
Yeah,
back.
Certainly not like the loser days, for example.
Yeah, because there was a time where he was the biggest thing around, and now he's just not. That's just
but again, he's got this same scenario where he's has a huge fan base and he can tour and
his new record's incredible.
His new record is
like
phenomenal.
You put it on
really
and it's
great.
So dreamy.
Yeah.
Oh, I
it's just
gotta
soft.
get it. Butch Walker is a friend. Are you
right.
friends with Butch?
I know he is, but we've not met.
Yeah, you'd get along great with him. He produced our last 2 albums, and he's good friends with Beck, and so he heard that album before he put it out, and he was like, "Man, this thing is tremendous."
It really is. He's one of the greats. Absolutely.
So the last song that I wanted to see if you would play with us is I don't even know where this song came from. I don't know what I don't know who wrote it with you. I don't know what the idea behind it was, but did you score all of Get Him to the Greek? What was your job in that? Yeah, you were the music director.
To write the incidental music, the score.
Yeah.
But to also produce all the songs that were in the movie.
Okay, so you basically, as you did in Superbad, you basically created a band, right? Like a vibe, everything. You had to write according to a thing. So this
Right.
English guy was like a pop singer.
Right.
So you had to write pretty ridiculous, like British pop songs that seemed like maybe they'd be like late 90s
Yeah.
pop songs. And this song, Bangers, Beans, and Mash,
Right.
happens to be like a cult favorite. Like Jerry told his guitar tech, who's like 23. Is he 23 now?
24.
And he was like, hey man, we're gonna go hang out with Lyle Workman. He's like, oh my god, dude, do you think that there's a chance that you guys are gonna play Bangers, Beans, and Mash? And
First
we were
thing
like,
he said.
what the hell?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He goes, are you doing bangers?
Oh, that's amazing to hear that, because
Tell me how the whole concept of that kind of world, like, does Judd say, hey man, here's the story, here's what we have to do?
well,
Like, how
that
does
movie was written by Jason Segel and oh gosh.
Are you pretty good friends with him at this point too? Since you guys
Well,
probably...
you see, work acquaintances. Yeah,
Sure.
we've done a few. He was in the Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and that that character was introduced in Forgetting
Right.
Sarah Marshall, Russell
Right.
Brand's character of Aldous Snow, and so they wrote a movie based on that character, and several songwriters were hired to sort of outfit the Infant Sorrow band material. Infant Sorrow being Aldous Snow's band.
Right. I remember,
And so it was, I think, a situation where the director, Nick Stoller, might say, hey, what about a song about excess? Or Judd might say, what about a song about birds? Or, whatever it was, birds, English birds, that is. And so there were a bunch of different writers. And I wrote a couple songs with Jason Segel, and this was one of them.
So he really does play piano.
Absolutely, yeah. He started this song, and then it was like a really crude recording of him playing an out-of-tune piano and singing into, wasn't even
Like Dracula?
yeah, exactly. And then so he just basically had a verse idea, and then I just sort of.
So he
built it
wrote
up
all these
into-
words.
Yes, I didn't write any of the words.
I think these are some of the worst words I've ever read.
Yeah,
I think this might be the worst lyric I've ever sung.
right.
And I just wanted to
It's
say
really
that.
coming. It's really not coming. This song was not written by a professional songwriter. It was written by an actor who plays music. I'm saying it with all due respect.
That's why I have to write the
So
chords
some
down.
of the other
But-
songs, the words are a little bit more crafty.
But you said
I-
in an email to Jerry
Yeah.
that this bridge to this song was one of your proudest moments.
There's-
And you've
it's incredible.
played with
It's
some
incredible.
pretty great people, and it comes down to the bridge of Bangers, Beans, and Mash.
What I specifically meant was there, on a technical songwriting level, where I go chordally and melodically, I like that a lot. It's just like sometimes you go, oh, that's
I
pretty
like
good.
you a lot.
Every
No,
now and
it's
then you
epic.
do something that you write
Yeah.
and you go, oh, that is really cool how I got into that. How it modulates and goes back and it comes back. It's just one of my.
It's got Beatles.
And as a matter of
It's-
fact, Roger Manning was in the Infant Sorrow band in the movie.
in the movie.
You see,
Really?
right? That's
Yeah,
Roger
yeah,
Manning
yeah.
from Jellyfish.
Also
Really?
toured with
He was
Beck with you.
Also toured in Beck with me. Yeah.
Really? So are you guys still friends?
Absolutely.
Who are your
Huge
best friends? So I can be jealous.
the people I-
Because this
I
is
work
all I
with.
got. Jerry and Pergo.
The guys I work with, Victor Drizzo, the drummer,
wow.
Jeff Babco, the keyboard
Wow.
player, Toss Panos, another great drummer. I mean, just the people I work with. Are
Toss is
my
But
Great.
at this phase, I mean, you work with so many cool people that, your friends are probably your wife and your kid at this point, and you just work so much with so many different people. You hang when you can, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of
Right.
time the hang is in the work. You know how it is.
That's right. Yeah, it's like that's why we started this podcast. 'cause
that's cool.
We're fans of things and people, and the only time we get to hang is like backstage, and that's rare.
Right.
And so we're like, man, the only way Lyle will ever take my call is if I start a podcast. And so 1 year later, we're
No,
here.
I actually listened to last night. I listened to the Jonathan Cain,
Oh, cool.
So funny.
and I know Jonathan. We actually worked together.
Oh, that's cool.
We wrote a song that's on his solo record, and I did a few gigs with him, and
Well,
he's just an unbelievable. I mean, as you saw, he's such an incredible dude. Just
He
a
is.
great
Yeah, he's a
guy.
great guy.
Think about the songs that he's written and the impact his music has made.
Yeah, that's right.
And
And
he
he
just could
still
not
holds
be
the
nicer.
record on the Patcast as the most listens.
Oh yeah.
I would love for you to knock him off that mantelpiece right now.
We could just start playing some Journey.
I can't compete with open
I think once
arms.
people find out that we're about to play bangers, beans, and mash, shit's about to change for all of us.
This is going
So
down.
seriously, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through all of it because the melodies are a little funny.
Stop whenever you want. Yeah.
No, I'm going to keep going. I might just sing the wrong thing.
No,
so
it doesn't matter.
So I'm just going to go because I want you to get to this bridge that you're so psyched about.
Can you play? I play with the capo. Do you?
No.
Capo, what's that? I'm Lyle Workman.
We did record it in another. Well, no, we recorded in E flat, but I tuned my.
I'm good. Either. Yeah. Yeah. 1, 2.
Another night, you're on my mind. I'm hypnotized, but I cannot find the signs.
It's time for
The tube to come home, I need the tube to get home. Another night, I'm here alone. My eyes so tired, I'm staring at this phone. Why won't you call and come home? Please call and come home. And I know that you won't. You don't come just home for the cash. Will you come for my bangers, my beans and mash? A suicide in Soho Grand. My wrist so tired from working with my hands. Please pick me up when I land. Just where I land. Another day on Princeton Road. I fear I'm fading. I put you in my will. Why has the world gone so still? The world is so still. I feel that my next meal might be my last. Will you come for my bangers, my beans and mash? Only thing I've ever seen to see is you. Closest thing we've ever seen. I need to get them off my chest before I'm dead. I feel so fucking dead.
Here's the bridge.
We got to it.
Man, I've never done a poorer job at anything that I can remember as an adult.
It was really good.
You can
I'm such
cut
a
this whole
big
thing.
fan of Jason Segel,
He's awesome.
and I couldn't like this song less.
What about the bridge?
I love
We're gonna
the
start
bridge.
putting
Who
in our
wrote the
live show.
bridge?
We're gonna
What's
put
that?
it in our live show. Can we?
What?
Yeah.
We're gonna put it in our live show.
Yeah, yeah.
After he said it's the worst song he's ever.
But see, that's the crazy thing.
That's
like,
Pat.
like that's a humongous song. Like Pergo loves the song. He
Really?
thinks Infant Sorrow. He's like, this
Yeah.
movie is it's their Spinal Tap.
There's some good stuff. Do you have the CD?
I've listened to this.
Yeah, but there was a lot of songs.
Yeah.
Something like 20 songs, 20 something songs.
And did you co-write
Clap.
all of them or not all of them?
I only
Right?
co-wrote
Some
a
other
couple.
people came in.
We had, Mike Viola.
Oh yeah. He's
Amazing.
good friends with Butch and Jake.
Okay,
Jake,
yes, he
yeah.
wrote a lot of songs.
Oh, he
Wow.
did.
He and
You know, he sang the
Dan
song. That song that when we did the
Isn't
Fountains
he-
of Wayne guy.
He's part of Fountains and Wayne.
No.
Oh, he's
He
not.
tours with
Candy
them
Butchers?
sometimes. No, but he sang that song. Da 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 da. The big song.
Oh, you mean from That Thing You Do?
He's the singer of that
Oh,
song.
wow.
That's
That
Mike
Thing You
Viola.
Do,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yes, they wrote a bunch of
Him and
stuff for
Adam
that.
Schlesinger
And they
wrote that
also,
song. Right.
Mike Viola and Dan Byrne wrote a bunch of songs for Walk Hard. Which
Right.
is another
So funny.
genius. So yeah, there was a lot of great writers. With Jarvis
is-
Cocker from Pulp wrote some stuff.
Right.
Oh gosh, I'm forgetting his name. The guy from the Libertines, Carl Barat from the Libertines. He wrote some stuff. So there was a lot of great people submitting material for. So that's why a lot of the material is so strong. And
Do those
the whole
guys-
directive was like, let's try to make these songs. Let's make them as good as we can. Because
Yeah.
remember, he's supposed to be a huge rock star. So we got to
Yeah,
make
they
sure
gotta
the
be-
songs
they have to sound
correct
real.
on the music. And
I think
so-
that's why people loved him so well.
You guys didn't talk about the super bad band though either.
Oh, we
Yeah,
did, we
right.
kinda
I
missed
mean,
that.
I wanted to get back to the beginning of your career, but yeah, the Superbad band that you put together. I read that when you saw when they played for you the scenes,
Yeah.
they substituted in just old funk songs like James Brown songs.
Yeah, it's very
and stuff, but-
common to have temporary
But the
music in
vibe
there.
was super right.
It was, and it was, my thoughts were, let's can we get these guys? Let's
So you got Bootsy Collins.
we got
and shit.
Bootsy Collins.
Wow.
He was the first guy. I contacted him at a NAMM show of all places.
Really?
Was
Well,
he?
it was a completely fluke
Yeah.
thing. Is once we discussed about the music and okay, let's get these guys. Let's get the guys, the originators of this music. And I'm thinking, well, how do I get a hold of Bootsy Collins? And I practically the next day, I opened up my email and I saw there was an ad for a guitar pedal manufacturer, Godlike, actually is the name of the company. And they had a banner ad. Meet Bootsy Collins. Bootsy
Meet
Collins.
him.
Meet him at the NAMM show.
Shut up.
And I'm an endorser of that company, so I said, hey, can you talk to him because we have this movie and I'd like to get in touch with him. So we actually set up this meeting at the NAMM show.
So the
Wow.
NAMM show is a National Association of
right,
Music
yeah.
Merchandisers.
It's usually in San Francisco, right?
No, it's always in LA.
Yeah, it's in L.A. and there's one in Nashville and there's one in Germany. It's basically just a big music
Every
convention.
January. They do it right around Grammy week.
Oh wow.
So we, myself, the director and the music editor and supervisor, met him at the,
Wow,
at the,
that's
the NAMM show.
incredible.
And then he sort of facilitated all the other players. He said, well, you wanted to get these guys, you want to get these two drummers. We got the two original drummers
From James' band,
Brown's
right?
band and Bernie Worrell and
Really?
Did you have time to sit around and talk about great stories that they might have
not
had?
much because
That sucks.
we
Deadlines.
We brought them out from all the different places they lived to. We did 3 days at Capitol Records. And it's like, how these things, when you've got a studio like that, they try
Yeah.
to book it as least amount of time. So,
Sure.
and they were really, it cost a lot to bring that band
and that's
together.
another thing that I've seen you interview and you don't brag about it, but you definitely credit Judd for being able to make reasonably priced movies.
Yeah. I mean, that's
in-
the kind of the whole thing is like if you make a movie for $20 million and it makes 150,
Right. And,
it's
and
like
You get to make
that's
another
unheard of.
movie.
And he basically
Well, it's not unheard
out
of
of the
if you
gate
have-
he did that,
Yeah.
just one right after another.
he just keeps doing it.
And then now we've got his little group of Seth Rogen and now he and Evan Goldberg who together wrote Superbad when they were in high school.
Really?
Yeah, they wrote that and when the first time I saw that movie, I guess I have to say out of all the movies I've seen, the first time before I would score it, I would see like a cut, a director's cut or an early cut. But that particular movie was completely just blew me away.
Really?
I came in a little later, so I did work more time on it.
Because you think it was super funny?
I just felt
or
like
was this
that
coming of age and the
I
whole
go,
thing.
Here's the Fast Times at Ridgemont High or whatever
Right.
of this generation. It was just a real strong piece of work. A great director.
really is great.
Just really great actors. They were still kind of. I mean, look at Jonah Hill. I mean, who would
Now,
have thought that
yeah.
he was,
Yeah.
look at
Yeah.
what he's
Well,
done.
he was in one thing before that I recognized him in. That was 40-Year-Old Virgin.
He had a small little part.
Yep, where he
Hilarious.
came in and he
Yeah.
wanted to take home those
He wanted
Kiss
the
boots.
No, they
Yeah,
were
the-
just boots with a fish in
With
the.
the- yeah, they had
And he goes,
right.
so I just want to buy these.
I just
How
wanna
do I
take these
buy
home.
these?
How can
Right. And then, of course, and Forgetting Sarah Marshall and
Right.
Get Him to the Greek.
Yeah, he
But
was.
I mean, he just managed. Judd just really assembled a bunch of incredible talent, super smart, super funny people.
I can't believe that really he can use the same people and do that well every single time. Like that people wouldn't be, because I'm not bored.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I can't wait to see Jonah Hill be the same guy he was in the other 4 movies. I can't wait.
And his wife's in all of them, but she's a different person.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, she's incredible.
yeah.
I mean, you must be having a lot of fun, man, right?
It's absolutely
What do you have going on right now?
nothing.
That's why I'm here.
No, I'm actually I just got some, I'm enjoying some time off.
Cool. You can do that. You don't stress about it anymore.
I don't anymore.
Because
after a while, as you get to a certain age, like, you know what? I've spent enough of my life worrying about what the next check was.
Right.
And now I've done enough pretty solid work over the last 10 years to where it's like, okay, I can sort of cruise for a while. And
I can.
And then
be
just
all
do
right for a
creative
minute.
stuff and then just, be a musician.
Right. Have you been writing with a lot of people? Is that what you're doing now? Or you're just really
mostly just-
literally...
I just got some time off. I'm just spending time with the family. I'm
Good.
writing some of my own stuff.
Yeah.
And doing sessions.
Are you going to
and
make
just-
another instrumental record?
I think so. I've already started some stuff, but those records take so long because I write and then I get super busy.
Right.
And then I write a little bit, and the music, at least historically, has been very complicated and dense, and
Right.
I should do something simple.
Have you been
So
working with like do record companies or at least managers or artists seek you out to co-write for their albums?
No, I don't think I'm seen as a writer in that way. I think I'm probably more perceived mostly as a...
Kirsten is.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Yeah,
Like
sure.
he produced the new Sia hit.
Right.
And a friend of his that I think kind of is his understudy wrote the song with Sia. So, he's... and then I think he just scored his first movie.
Oh, great.
Which is the new Annie.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
and
my
I think
gosh.
Sia brought that to him.
Well, he's super. I mean,
Yeah.
talent. He's incredible.
But I mean, you're
player.
very similar. You guys are very similar, like even in your demeanor. Like I don't know, man. I'm around a lot of people with like these big attention-needing personalities, and they just don't have the thing that you guys have. So it's such a pleasure to be around that. Can I just ask you a few last questions before?
I'm having fun. You ask me as many as you want.
I wanted to know if you could tell people who are listening to this something magical that you've found by touring the world. Like, is there a place or anything that you wouldn't have found if you didn't travel? Where'd you meet your wife?
She was in the Bay Area.
Oh, cool.
She worked for the management company. Bill Graham.
So
was our
you
manager.
knew her like way long ago.
He had Bill Graham management, too.
You had Bill Graham management?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So did we. Who was your like
Was
day-to-day
Mick
guy?
Brigden and
Sure.
Mick and
I just saw
Kevin
Mick.
Burns,
Yeah.
Sure, I know Kevin.
Arnie Pastilnik.
Arnie was my main guy. That's amazing.
How funny!
Yeah.
Great guys.
Did you know Kevin Gilbert?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're both from San. We're
Yeah,
from San
I figured
Jose,
you were
yeah.
right around that same time.
Yeah.
Same band.
Gilbert,
And
amazing.
He dealt with all that, too.
So you
Yeah.
met your wife before you moved to LA and
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
We've been together for a long time.
everything working out, or you need a girlfriend, or do you have a girlfriend too? I'm trying to help.
I'm very happy.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Or at least I want to say that.
Is
on
she
air.
or is she on that like marriedbutlonely.com? Because I go to that sometimes just to check it out.
You never know.
Can you believe
She
some
probably
of the
use a different name.
I'm on Just Farmers all the time. What's that called? Farmers Only.
farmers only? Man, we got to turn you on to some great sites. No,
Oh, my God.
I'm just kidding. We're all psyched in our lives.
But I have to answer your question.
Yeah.
I've told the world and elsewhere. Yeah, I've just been. It's really nice when you're on a tour and you're on sometimes it could be a paid vacation if you have any time off.
Yeah.
And so I've seen incredible stuff. Istanbul and Monaco and
right. Have you seen the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
Yes, I have.
Crazy, right?
It's
so little compared to what you think it would be.
It doesn't go straight up and down.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah.
They could fix that shit. You know that, right?
I don't know what the problem is. But
Nobody would go just see the Tower of Pisa.
yeah, we got. They had
What
to,
happened? He was
they had to put
leaning.
a spin on it.
Yeah.
But why couldn't they do the all green Tower of Pisa?
Yeah.
And just paint it green, and it would have been a lot easier than.
I think the lean was an accident,
Yeah.
and they tried to sell it
Oh, they
instead
didn't-
of fix it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought they fixed that. They did leaned it over in the '60s or something.
I don't know, man.
It's like, God, that guy Lyle Workman is really stupid.
I'm glad they did it because it was pretty cool to see. But
However they did it or when they did it, it's pretty cool.
it is pretty cool.
But if it was up straight and just green, I would have been just happy. Don't you think?
Do you have
So was it something in Italy, you think, that is your masterful find?
The Amalfi Coast, my man. Have you been there? Oh, it's just.
I've been to Italy, but not that part. I got engaged to my wife in Portofino.
I've been to Portofino. Beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah, just that. It's just incredible.
You been to Sicily?
I have not, but I'm one half Sicilian.
Are you really?
I certainly am.
Pergo's Italian.
too.
He's,
Are you?
Yeah,
he's
Sicilian.
On what side?
Sicilian.
Of the
On my
family?
dad's side.
I'm on Sicilian on my mom's side. Is Pergo an Italian name?
Pergolese.
Pergolese. Pergo's my nickname. Yeah.
Oh
Workman's not Italian.
no, that's my dad. That's my dad's side.
What's that?
It's like German, Scottish, English. Terrier.
You're a wreck.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Were your parents musical?
My dad played a little bit of cowboy guitar and was in a band. And they played not clubs, like bar bands.
Are
bars,
your
something
parents
like that.
alive?
No.
Did they get to see how gifted you were as a
They
player?
got to see.
Were they
stuff
psyched
happen.
or were they like?
Oh yeah,
that's
because
great.
there was always music in the house. My mom
Yeah.
was into the rock and roll side of things, and my dad was in the country, so
Wow.
there was always music.
Right.
And he played, he enjoyed it, and gave me my first guitar and taught me my
Oh,
first.
that's so
open
cool.
chords.
Really.
Wow.
Yeah, they were totally into it. So.
How long did you have the guitar before you were better than your dad? 3 hours? Like really, Jerry's son.
Well,
he's
I-
gonna have that gene where he's gonna be a real good player.
Doesn't it seem like with kids these days, it's just like the amount of talent, like what people can do. As much as we sort of cry about the state of certain affairs in the music industry, the talent of just people dancers,
The bars-
and
the bars high.
singers,
Yeah.
and players.
Yeah.
It's like I don't recall seeing people that good that young.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you
It's
think
true.
that is? Is it
It's
just
the
because
parents.
Is it the prayer?
It's us.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's the encouragement and
I think it's
let's
parents,
do
yeah.
your thing and
Pergo thinks
pushing.
it's YouTube.
I think there's exposure.
I'm
for
a little
sure.
bit in between. Yeah, I think it's parents driving a kid.
Yes.
A lot of times, if kids show a talent, there was a shift years ago where parents ruled. Kids, it was just like, shut up. I'm going to the bar.
Oh yeah.
Then the shift happened where it was like, oh, my baby, I need to make sure I do every fucking thing my baby wants. And
Yeah.
then the kid turns out to be shitty.
There's
Then
definitely
he has
overcoddling.
kids, and then the shitty kid has kids, and he's back to the, I don't give a shit, I'm going to the bar.
Yeah.
So there's this thing that it's trying to balance itself out with parents and kids where we nurture them, but we don't give them everything. And
That's
so,
right.
how do we help them have drive, but without gifting them everything, the fruits of what
There's
we've done.
The balance. I
Yeah.
mean, it seems like you can screw up people pretty easy, little people, if you're not careful. But
Yeah, you could mess up a kid fast.
But yeah, there's over coddling, and there's people that, you're great. Oh, that's great. You're great. Oh, that's so great. Look what little Junior drew. Look at that.
Yeah.
Squiggly line. You're so good.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they don't get that kind of encouragement out in the real world. It's like, oh my God.
I give up.
Yeah.
That's why everything my kids do, I go, I could do it better.
He does.
And then my wife would be like, he's 3.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Well, he better get his shit together then, shouldn't he?
Right. Do you remember the George Carlin bit about the kids?
No, but I'd love to hear it.
Oh yeah, it's just basically, the kids this, save the kids. I say fuck the kids. Have you looked at them? Most of them pretty unpleasant.
Man, he was so genius, man.
The whole thing he says about, kid nowadays, the kids have helmets for everything except jerking off. They got a helmet for everything.
A helmet for everything.
Yeah.
And so you really didn't tell us what you found on the road. So the Amalfi Coast.
Just being
Just
in
Like, is there a
being
restaurant? Is there a restaurant or a certain
you're looking
more
for a tip.
specific?
That's all right. Yeah, I mean,
Specific.
just to turn people on to
Yeah.
Is there
just-
a place in LA that you could tell people that you have to go to when you're here? Like, are you one of those Pinks guys?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, where's the kale burger? I'm that kind of guy.
Oh, really? You're like Real Food Daily, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I try to do that. I mean,
Isn't that amazing? They have one at LAX now, a Real Food
they
Daily.
do, really?
Yeah.
Wow. You can make healthy food taste great.
Yeah.
I mean, when it doesn't taste good, forget it.
Yeah, that's
But,
right.
You can have something healthy that tastes great or something that's super unhealthy that tastes great. And
Yeah.
It seems like an easy choice for me, I don't do it all the time. Every once in a while, it's like, okay, it's an out burger time.
Yeah. And so
okay.
I'll move on to my next question.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of something currently that you could share with everybody? Like a lot of people I talk to they're binge watchers of certain television shows like Netflix and stuff. You got one of those?
Well, we can talk forever about Breaking Bad.
Really?
Now that's over, well, we can't
Don't
talk
spoil
about
the
it.
ending.
You mean you didn't see it?
I've seen it, but I don't really spend a lot of.
Did you watch the whole thing from start to finish?
No. I only saw
Yeah.
the first 2 years.
Yeah, you gotta be in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that to me it's the greatest.
It seems like
Drama that's
it seems
ever
like
been
you're
on
mad at
TV.
me a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm reading that correctly.
I'm gonna actually. Can we just not
Stop.
put this out?
I'm done.
No. I'm just. Yeah,
That's the one, huh? You have a
that's
new one
great.
though since Breaking Bad is
You know what I
wrapped up.
really like that's recent is I like the show Derek. Have you seen it?
I don't know, Derek.
It's Ricky Gervais. It's his latest thing. It's on both seasons are streaming on. It's a totally different kind of
How
thing.
about Louis C.K.? Are you
I
in?
love Lucy K.
I hear
Love
he's
him.
got a new season.
Yeah.
That's together right now. I haven't seen any of the new one.
Finished, I think it just finished. I like that show. I like. I like the show Nathan for You. Have you seen that?
What is it called?
It's on Comedy Central. It's irreverent, funny stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
really new, right?
it's it's on he's on his second season currently in the second season. It's really funny. Check
Cool,
out
we'll have to-
Derek.
I'll have to check that out.
Derek on.
Is there a standout moment that you can think of that led you to having this music career? Is there like an obvious thing
Yeah.
that happened or something somebody said?
It's the Beatles. I think for a lot of people my age that got into music, almost all of them, if they're in the pop world, that is, it's the Beatles.
Really?
I mean, it was
just
such
that
a
was
yeah.
it.
I mean, don't you remember? I mean, like when you first,
The Beatles were they weren't my thing.
huh? Really? Okay.
I mean, I was too little when they
Okay.
first happened, and then afterwards, by the time they were kind of wrapping up, I was just a big Led Zeppelin
See,
fan.
I was 5 years old and they're on the TV show,
Right.
And yeah, it was such an incredible. It was like if you rolled video games and iPhone and technology and cell phones and all into one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm talking about in terms of the monumental nature of
Right.
what
Well,
that bad.
all my siblings, like my brothers, are all like 60, 59, 58. That was them.
Yeah, sure.
It was the Beach Boys and the Beatles, and that's it. And then my sisters, who were a little bit younger, they started getting into Bob Dylan,
Yeah.
James Taylor, Cat Stevens, and then
wonderful.
I started liking Aerosmith and Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple.
Because that's
I
what
liked.
spoke to you. That was sort of culturally what was, and yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down with all those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all quality. And my dad, he dug Cal Jader and
Wonderful. Yeah.
and Miles, and
Sure.
he loved Chet Baker the most.
Oh,
That was
great.
his guy.
Yeah.
And he loved Stan Getz. So there's always good stuff happening.
So yeah, so I'm the same thing. Like it's just whatever, but for me, it's seeing them on TV, hearing their music. It was just like it was nothing like that ever. It was like suddenly this whole amazing thing was invented,
Right.
And it just captivated us all, man.
Yeah, it was everything. It was
just what?
It
And I
was
just had
like-
to get it. I'm like I could if I had this thing in this guitar on my lap, I could play one of their songs. I can't believe it. I mean, it was so exciting.
wow. Do you have a concert in your life that you went to that hit you that way?
wow, there's so
What was
many.
the first live concert that you saw that you were like, oh my God, this is
It was
real?
probably like some rock and roll thing. You know, it's like I was really into bands like well, not bands, but people like Johnny Winter and Robin Trower. And,
Oh, yeah.
You know, 70s
Didn't
stuff.
Johnny Winter just pass away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him, you know,
weeks,
Peter
couple weeks ago.
Frampton.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought he was great. And
Yeah, he
the Who,
was.
The Who
man.
was my. I mean, I would have to say the Who was. That was sort of like
The Who.
That
Oh,
was
cool.
like the first.
You
when I
saw them
that.
live.
I
Where'd
saw
you
them
see them at,
live.
like Cow
I,
Palace or
I
something?
saw him at the Cow Palace with Keith Moon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Keith Moon.
Yeah, and I
That's
saw him a
awesome.
couple times after that, but it was.
Wow.
But that the big turning point for me was seeing the Woodstock movie,
Oh.
because I kind of went from, you know, Beatles and Creedence
Right,
Clearwater
yeah.
Revival to Hendrix and you know, 10 Years After and the Who.
Was there somebody part of that movie or that concert that was surprisingly like, oh my God? Like Joe Cocker was that for me. When I
Oh,
see
yeah.
Cocker in that movie, I go like,
The
whoa.
Little Help from My Friends performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, how great is that? So many great performances
Yeah.
in that on that concert.
Super weird.
So that was a big turning point for me. Just like, okay, so now my ears wanted to hear more sophisticated music and
Right.
and rock and in Hendrix I'd never, you know, I was getting to be pretty good at playing, you know, Creedence Clearwater Revival solos or George Harrison things, and then Hendrix, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was
Right.
yeah. So that's what spoke to me.
Were you obsessed with trying to get girls to like you, or were you just nerdy
Oh,
about
yeah.
it, or what? Because
Well,
Jerry, that's all he cared. He was like, I'm going to learn how to play music. Because
Really? Is that right?
Well, this is my story.
Okay, I met you when I was
This-
25.
Yeah, this is my story. That he doesn't even know how to play.
Come on, Jerry.
He doesn't even know how to play music. He just knows how to shake it on stage.
Oh,
That's
I
right. That's
see.
the only reason I'm here.
But
Oh, you've
you
done
know,
quite well, young man.
guys like me, we couldn't get girls to care if we weren't singing or playing drums or something. I mean, you know, that was the only way.
Yeah.
Did
I
that-
still couldn't talk to the girls. I just, you know, just sit there. I was really, once I got to a certain age, I was just so immersed in the guitar. I mean, I still was interested in the little ladies.
Don't
But
get me wrong.
I didn't have any game. I didn't know how to talk to them. You know,
Yeah.
but if a girl, you know, she practically have to jump on me naked and, oh, I guess she likes me. You know
Right.
that?
I guess I can write that song
got-
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's next for you?
You know, it's a little open right now. I'm not sure what there's a couple different movie projects that are being talked about, but
Yeah.
I wish I could say it's this.
Does it all
specific
filter
thing.
through your agent? Is that the way that
Yeah.
works?
Just several things.
So definitely some movies coming up, but you just don't know what they are or when they'll start.
That's right.
It's kind of your thing.
Yeah, there's one project I'm very excited about, but there hasn't been enough movement for me to talk about it yet.
Is it a similar group of people, or is it
No, it's a totally different
Oh,
camp,
that's
and it's
cool.
a completely whole. It's not like anything that anyone's ever heard me do before.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because I mean, that's what I wanted. That's what I
Yeah.
really wanted to do. Anytime I do one thing, I have this tendency to get a little bit bored with it. you
Sure.
know? I just want to. Well, what
And you
else can
could-
I do? How else can I grow as a musician and learn?
Can
know?
you write string arrangements?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you
yeah.
can. Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. That's got to be exciting.
Yeah, so you know, my last movie, I had a 78-piece orchestra, and
Wow, that's cool.
You get to
Yeah.
sit back and let someone
Yeah.
play your.
But
Do you
see,
do it on
it's
MIDI first, or how do you
Yeah.
write it out? You do.
I do it on the MIDI and the
I think
computer.
that's why Jerry loves your career, because he can do that stuff too. So
Oh,
he
right.
sees like
He's had me on the road for 7 years.
yeah, he sees
So-
like somebody
So you
like
haven't had
you
enough.
get to do what he wants to do,
Right.
And so he nerds out on like, whoa, and then you had that, and because
Hey,
he
I
could,
totally
he could do
get
all
it,
that.
man. I mean, I
He would like to
Sure.
come and visit you when you're doing your next score.
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah, come to the studio sometime.
Where do you do you do it in London, or where'd you do the?
Here in
Ocean
Los
Way?
Angeles.
Yeah.
We did some at Capitol. We did some at the Fox, stage, and then we did some at Sony Fox, and then we did one particular one I'm thinking of. A couple have done it at the Eastwood stage.
How different does it sound to
Warner
you
Brothers.
once you did it in MIDI and then you go there and hear it?
It's monumentally different. I mean, nowadays the modern composer has to make his mock-up sound really
Right.
good
Yeah.
because everyone expects it, and then you got guys like Hans Zimmer who makes
Yeah.
his own library, and his whole goal is to make his mock-up sound as good.
Is he
Right.
competition for you?
Well, he not necessarily, no, because he's kind of in a whole nother league. I mean, he's like
But he's also in a
way
whole
beyond.
and he's got to be in a whole different financial bracket at
Oh,
this
my
point,
God,
right?
are you
Because
kidding
he's
me?
like such
Yeah.
a big
Yeah,
blockbuster
yeah. No,
composer.
it's not like should we get Hans or should we allow Workman? That
Right.
I don't think that sentence has ever been uttered.
Right.
We worked with
Except for
Isham.
maybe-
You did a
Oh, great.
song with him, remember?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's great too.
Yeah, sure.
So my last question is, how do people find you? And do you not want them to find you? Are you on social media?
Yeah,
Do
I
you-
got the Facebook thing going on.
Yeah. Do they go to Lyle Workman? Do you
Yeah.
accept friends?
Yeah,
Yeah. Anybody?
I'm almost tapped out though.
Well, do you post like pictures of your kid and stuff? Or
I don't. You know what? I don't do
So
that.
it's pretty much a professional site.
Yeah,
at this point.
I don't have any pictures of my family because it's like it's 5,000 people and I know maybe 500 of them maybe.
You
Probably not
have
even
5,000 Facebook
that.
friends.
Just about.
Right.
I stopped accepting people right around 4,900 because I only wanted to accept people that I really knew because I initially thought Facebook place for your friends.
Right.
Sure.
But once it get past that, then it's like
Yeah.
you know, and then you might write some
Yep.
sort of something about gun control. Then you got these people, you know,
Right.
Democrat, liberal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh no, who's this guy? You know.
Yeah, I don't know that guy.
Yeah.
but he hates me.
Yeah, so
and
I
he's
mean-
my friend.
He's a
I mean,
friend.
that's fine
Facebook.
too with you. I mean, this with
Facebook is not my thing.
Oh, okay,
I
good.
have Instagram and Twitter I go
Okay.
to. But do you do either of those?
I'm on Twitter, but I do like one tweet every 5 months. I don't
okay,
do that
so-
often, but the Facebook page.
So there's
is probably
really
good.
so you don't tweet. There's no Instagram, and you don't accept any more friends on Facebook.
So
So
they're not.
you're just kind of not. This isn't your.
Website though.
You have a
Yes.
great website.
I have a website, but I don't really update it that much.
It
they
looks
could find
like
me.
it's pretty current.
It's very
right? I mean, it has
informative,
all your
though.
records
Yeah.
listed and everything.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, it's somewhat up to date. I should tweet more. Is that
You
the
should
thing?
Twitter it.
But you know, I don't really have much to say.
What's
to
your
people,
Twitter name?
like- oh gosh, I think it's just Lyle Workman.
Is it
It's pretty cool, huh?
And it's Lyle Workman.
Pretty cool.
And then my seriously last question is, Pergo, is there anything I forgot to ask? Because
I got one.
he always yells at me
You can
right
ask-
after
I'm
every
having fun.
podcast.
I can keep going.
Do you drink wine or drinks? Do you drink?
I don't drink, but I'm totally fine with like a glass of wine every now and again. I'm down with that.
What kind of wine? We're trying to get a new series going with the podcast.
Oh.
What's your favorite drink?
I like the red stuff.
oh, the rest.
But I can't tell you that I like a Merlot or a
Oh, you wouldn't
Cabernet
know.
or any of that stuff.
That was just never your thing.
Not really.
You never got into drugs or anything in your career?
No.
Would you? Are you
I did it in high
considering it?
school. I did it in high school.
Oh, you
I
did?
I was like Spicoli.
Oh, really? You smoked a
was-
lot of pot.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And then I got to a place before I graduated where I didn't like the sensation.
Yeah.
I started getting paranoid and.
Do you think it's because you're too ambitious? And you, or,
Well, I
or-
think for me, I just didn't like the sensation of feeling stoned.
Oh.
It just didn't. I liked it when I was young, but then I got burnt out on it. I just thought I wasn't going to be able to achieve what I wanted to achieve if I was so dependent on it for a good time.
Right.
And that kind of scared me. And I saw other people kind of go by the wayside with
Right.
their their drink or their drugs.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what?
A lot of
I got
lives
too
get
much
lost
stuff I
in
want to do and.
We're all stoned right now.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I have no problem with it, man.
I joke around a lot about it, but like if I was going to really be honest, you you have to be careful. Like,
don't you?
you can lose your life in it, and
Absolutely.
and then your children suffer from it. And I quit drinking for 17 years because
great.
I just remember feeling a certain way as a kid that I didn't want my kids to feel. And then I just started drinking wine a year ago, and I just think, as long as I'm cool with it and I don't bring it into my kids' lives like I had it in my life, then it works. And once I show up at a party as the drunk uncle, shit's
Yeah.
got to change again, because
Sure,
that's not going
exactly.
to work. Like that. I have little kids and older kids, but kids don't ever want to see their dad like, what is that? That's a
Yeah.
foreign, scary moment.
Absolutely.
But, anyway, so that's
that's. I mean, that's great that you
Just
recognize
seems
that.
realistic
And
is
I just
all.
some people, they can't have a little glass here and there.
Yeah.
they just can't do it.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that. I get that. I mean,
Yeah, I
I'm
get
I'm
that
that
too.
kind of person that can, but I understand that other people know once I take one, then it's going to be lampshade on the head time.
yeah.
Frank
for
the
next
Tank.
couple weeks.
Yeah. In jail. So
Yeah.
did I miss anything?
No, you're gonna have to do a part 2. He's got too much.
It's too many stories.
Really?
Will you ever do this again with us so we can have a follow-up?
I'd love to.
We're going to have to learn.
I was totally thrilled when you contacted me.
Oh, cool.
I remember having so much fun working on your record.
Oh, cool, man.
And
yeah.
And there's every now and again, you as a sideman, I get to work with different people and different artists. And
I think
every
you're
once in a while-
probably the pleasure of a lot of people's process, though. I mean, like when we made this record, it was the first time I worked with Kirsten.
Yeah.
And that's why I go like, wow, you remind me of Lyle. And Lyle reminds me of you because you leave with that feeling of, that was a magical time I just had.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's I think you leave a lot of people with that.
Oh, man,
you know,
well,
and I think you're just that kind of person, and
you so
your
much.
kid's lucky that you're his daddy.
Oh, thank you,
That's
man.
cool.
That's a wonderful thing to say.
So hopefully we'll do this again sometime.
please.
And thanks so much for doing the podcast today, man.
My
It's really
pleasure.
an honor.
Thank you, everybody.
Lyle Workman, everybody.
Great
He's
time.
half Sicilian. Don't hold that against him.
Half Sicilian.
Well, folks, as you heard right here on the Patcast, Lyle Workman doesn't do Twitter and he doesn't do Instagram. And if you'd like, you can friend him on Facebook. Yeah, actually, that's what Jerry does. Jerry faces Lyle almost every day on Facebook. But he'll probably ignore it, just like he ignores Jerry. But you can figure out where he's at and what he's up to via a quick Google search and checking his IMDb page. You can always reach us with your questions and comments via our Twitter and Instagram, and that's at Patcast Podcast. And find out more at patcast.com. Jerry and Pergo are on there, and don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes. I think we might need a Pergo Jerry or Jerry Pergo challenge again soon. I think I got some new ideas. Anyway, thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next week.